Now, Biden, on the other hand, has been leaning into pandemic-era campaigning with social distancing at in-person events and a virtual fundraiser of Barack Obama tonight. As the country prepares for a general election in the era of coronavirus, the normal playbook for politics is going to have to change. Joining me now to talk about that, Stacey Abrams, founder of Fair Fight Action, an election reform and education advocacy group. She ran for governor of Georgia against Brian Kemp in 2018, and Jon Ossoff, who won his party's primary earlier this month and will face Georgia Republican Senator David Perdue in November. It's great to have you both. Jon, let me start with you, since you're right now on the campaign trail and you have a kind of apples-to-apples comparison, which is you ran in a special election in 2017, and you're running now, and you started running before COVID, and now you have to run in the COVID era. What does it mean? How do you do that?
Well, the door-to-door canvassing we'd like to do is not possible. We're putting public health first. But we are still running a robust volunteer program with hundreds of thousands of phone calls and text messages being sent. And when you look at what happened in Georgia on election day, I mean, those are not issues unique to the COVID era. We have these issues in Georgia election after election. Stacey can speak to more detail to the specifics of the problems. I think the good news is that despite 6 to 8 hour lines, despite absentee ballots that never arrived, there was record-setting turnout and record-setting Democratic turnout in Georgia, and people demonstrated they were galvanized and energized to vote here in Georgia, which is the premier battleground state this year in this election.
Stacey, what do you think about that in terms of the ways in which election administration has to change? And we've heard, people having issues in New York, and we saw the images you saw from Louisville, as well as campaigns needing to change.
Well, I think what Jon is absolutely right about is that we are seeing record turnout and record enthusiasm, and that's half the battle in the campaign. But the other half is making sure that that enthusiasm can be harnessed, that we can stoke more enthusiasm through contact. One of the ways we were so successful in 2018 was reaching out to people who didn't think they belonged in the process. And I think the way that Jon is going about it, the way Reverend Raphael Warnock, who's running for our second Senate seat, is going about it, is reaching people where they are, using digital, but also going analog, just making phone calls, doing the hard work of touching voters. But the problem is, if we can get all of that enthusiasm up, if we can generate the voter turnout we need, we must have election administrators who are prepared and who are resourced to actually conduct our elections. And what we saw happen in Kentucky and in New York today, what happened in Georgia, what happened in Wisconsin, what is happening again and again is the clarion call that tells us we have to get investment in our elections to meet this moment.
Yeah, I want to Kentucky. I just in slight defense of the administration there, I will note that the reporters who were covering that one location all day in Jefferson County there, it was an enormous location. There were no lines. People were moving through. So the general operation throughout that day was not these huge bottlenecks that we saw, Stacey, in the state of Georgia. To their credit, but to the point that you both made, what's so fascinating to me, right, as we run the experiment of what democracy looks like in a pandemic, is we keep seeing record turnout. So in Georgia, the primary set a record in Georgia with more than 2.1 million votes cast. Democrats exceeded Republicans by more than 182,000 votes, according to the Secretary of State's office. Early numbers we're getting from Kentucky tonight is that absentee ballots alone are going to exceed typical primary turnout for Kentucky. And Jon, it looks like when you add in person, you're seeing the same level of just intense voter enthusiasm in the midst of all the challenges in the state of Kentucky, as we saw in Georgia. What do you attribute that to?
Well, there's two factors at play here. The first is that we are in the midst of a public health and economic crisis that it is apparent to everyone has been exacerbated by poor political leadership and bad government. And so that politics for all of us is a matter of life and death during a pandemic and during an economic crisis like this has been hammered home in a way that I think is galvanizing record turnout and record enthusiasm. And the other thing that's at play, particularly in Georgia, where we had the killing of Ahmaud Arbery, where we just had the tragic shooting death of Rayshard Brooks, where we've had these massive issues with election administration and voting rights, not just this year, but election after election after election. Is this awakening that there is fundamentally a need for civil rights, criminal justice, and voting rights advocacy and reform at the highest levels in this government, and we're seeing people galvanized to come out and demand those rights. I closed this primary that we just finished focused relentlessly on the need for a new Civil Rights Act and a new Voting Rights Act, and how I will champion those priorities in the United States Senate. And people are turning out in defense of civil rights, in defense of voting rights, and because they're passionate about expanding and strengthening those rights here in America, in Georgia and across the country.
Stacey, I'm curious what you think as you look at these numbers, because I think we saw it in Wisconsin too, I should note. There's some part of me that didn't know how this was all going to go. Are people going to stay home? Are they not going to want to use the machinery of the mail-in ballot because they haven't done it before? And yet we really are seeing now, we have enough data to show that people are more determined than ever to vote in this election year.
I think there are two pieces. One, they're determined to vote because they understand what's at stake. It's not that we're simply redoing the 2016 election. We're also redoing the 2010 election. That's going to set the stage for the next decade of our lives. And folks remember what it felt like to win in 2008 and lose in 2010. But I think the other piece, and this goes back to John's point, we have people who want to be involved, and part of that is the fact that they know that they can mail in their votes. They don't have to sacrifice their health to vote. And so we're going to see an increase, but that increase has to be met with increased investment. What we are witnessing in a lot of these states like Kentucky, where I will give credit to both Governor Beshear and to the Secretary of State, Michael Adams, they both did their best to make sure that vote by mail works, but we always have to remember that not everyone can vote by mail. And that's why we have to maintain in-person early voting and in-person voting. But more than that, we need the federal government to step in and help cash-strapped states step up and scale up, because we are going to see unprecedented turnout. But we can't let this primary turnout blind us to the fact that there are still millions of Americans who do not know not whether they will vote for Biden or not. They don't know if voting matters or not. And that's why Georgia is so excited to have John Ossoff, a warrior who has spent his business life fighting corruption, documenting corruption, and being a warrior against corruption, which we certainly have in our senators, our current senators, and Raphael Warnock, a moral warrior who has done his best to lift up the voices and needs of people across the state. Those are the kinds of people we need to send to the Senate, and that's why I'm so excited that Georgia is a battleground this year.
Yeah, Georgia, a very rare thing happening in Georgia this year. Of course, there will be the presidential. Of course, it is contested, probably a swing state at the presidential level, and there are 2 Senate races. Doesn't happen that often. So all of that means that Georgia is going to be the center of a lot of the political world for the next few months. Stacey Abrams and John Ossoff, thank you both.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Coming up, the myth of the roving Antifa mobs and the very real threat of white supremacist violence, the growing alarm over extremist influences within the U.S. military. Just ahead.
Everyday work, exercise, and stress leaves your body in a painful, achy mess. What if you could combine soothing pressure, vibrating massage, and heat therapy? Introducing Calming Heat, the revolutionary massaging weighted heating pad. Calming Heat combines the soothing benefits of weighted pressure with the warming relief of an extra-large heating pad, plus massaging vibrations that can be turned on and off. The secret is therapeutic heat that's absorbed into the weighted clay beads, combined with massaging therapy, all stitched in a soft, luxurious fabric, delivering warm, soothing pressure therapy to muscles and joints. Watch, when blasted with air, this regular heating pad blows away, but the weighted pressure and no-slip fabric keep Calming Heat securely in place. Calming Heat is the ideal way to calm muscle aches, loosen stiff joints, helps relieve hand pain, and soothe menstrual cramps.
Calming Heat helps me by relaxing the muscles and also just relieving the tension that I feel.
With the Calming Heat, it has the weighted beads in it so that you can put it anywhere on your body, and with the pressure, it'll help the heat get into your muscles quicker for faster relief.
It's a lot bigger. It was able to cover my whole lower back.
Plus, Calming Heat features one-touch control, a convenient 9-foot cord, and automatic shutoff. So while regular heating pads are blown away, Calming Heat's weighted, soothing pressure therapy can last all night and day. Take your relaxation to the next level with Calming Heat by Calming Comfort for just $59.99. As a bonus, you'll get the Stay Clean and Store Bag absolutely free. And Calming Heat comes with a free 1-year warranty. Order today and find out how you can get a second Calming Heat for 50% off and free shipping. That's right, free shipping. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-691-5312 or go to calmingheat.com. Order now.
Rising energy costs are frustrating. Electricity rates continue to increase, and there's no relief in sight. It's also smart to prepare for power outages that can leave you in the dark. You need a solution that will help you save money, prepare for power outages, and help the environment. Introducing the Generac Power Cell, a battery storage system that harnesses the power from the sun to help reduce your electric bill and provide backup power during utility power outages.
With the battery storage solution, we're saving about $450 a month.
PowerCell's revolutionary technology captures and stores electricity either from solar panels or the electrical grid. It allows you to use stored energy during peak demand times when electricity costs are high, which helps reduce your electric bill, saving you money. And when a power outage occurs, PowerCell is ready to supply backup power to your home. PowerCell's modular design allows for easy customization for any home or budget, and PowerCell is backed with a 10-year limited warranty.
It was a simple installation, very neatly installed. It was done very quickly and efficiently. Since installing our power system, we've been experiencing a savings of $1,500 a year.
Generac has been a trusted provider of backup power solutions since 1959 and provides 24/7 customer support.
The battery storage solution in combination with the solar has been one of the best investments we've ever made.
Special financing is available with low monthly payment options. You will likely qualify for tax credits and energy rebates, which could save you up to 30%, adding to the savings you'll enjoy over time with PowerCell. Call now to schedule a free in-home assessment. The call is free, the assessment is free, and there's no obligation to buy. Act now to receive PowerView, Generac's home energy monitoring system, a $300 value. With PowerView, easily keep tabs on your energy consumption, monitor your battery usage, and track your savings. Don't wait. Call or go online now. PowerCell, savings powered by the sun.
The story the right has been telling about this moment is about these marauding anti-fascist mobs from Antifa, as the president calls them, coming to your town to cause mayhem, to start riots, to tear down your statues, to take everything you love and hold dear. The president predictably, getting along with this, heightening the tension and fear, threatening anyone who vandalizes or destroys any monument, statue, or other such federal property, like, say, pulling down a statue of a Confederate traitor on public land with 10 years in prison. You might have seen that yesterday in Lafayette Square, just outside the White House, U.S. Park Police officers in riot gear pepper-sprayed protesters who were attempting to topple a statue of President Andrew Jackson. You'll remember Jackson as the guy who ordered the violent ethnic cleansing of nearly 4,000 Native Americans in direct violation of a Supreme Court order not to. Now, that statue did not come down in the end, but while statues have come down across America, the country is not being overrun. Across the country, people in 41 cities and towns were so scared by false rumors spread on social media saying that Antifa was coming to their area. We started seeing some amazing images like these from Washington State showing white men in tactical gear carrying long guns ready to defend their local Ross Dress for Less and Hobby Lobby from the Antifa mob. Of course, the mobs never showed up because they were never coming. Antifa does not even really exist as a coherent organization in any traditional sense. Certainly not in the way the president and the right wing imagine. That said, there has been a real story of organized, concerted, planned terrorist violence undertaken and plotted, sometimes successfully, to take advantage of this moment. It is right-wing violence. The genuine organized terror we have seen recently in this country is coming from white supremacists. When a sheriff's deputy in Santa Cruz, California was killed earlier this month, conservatives tried to tie the suspect to Antifa. As it turns out, the suspect, who's also been charged in the shooting death of a federal security officer in Oakland, appears to be connected to far-right white supremacist fringe group called the Boogaloo Boys. And then just yesterday, the Department of Justice brought a shocking indictment against a U.S. service member for allegedly planning an attack on his own army unit with a neo-Nazi and white supremacist group. More details on that story and the growing concern about right-wing violence next.
We're
can a healthier heart lead you? For people with heart failure taking Entresto, it may lead to a world of possibilities. Entresto helps improve your heart's ability to pump blood to the body. Don't take Entresto if pregnant. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. Don't take Entresto with an ACE inhibitor or aliskiren, or if you've had angioedema with an ACE or ARB. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high blood potassium. Ask your doctor about Entresto.
Now, more than ever, you need a mobile bank account that helps you earn and save more. That is unlimited by Green Dot, and it comes with the richest debit card in America. With an incredible 2% interest on your savings, that's 20 times higher than the national average, up to a $10,000 balance. And when you shop online, you earn unlimited 2% cash back. 2% interest on your savings plus 2% cash back is huge. Open an account at greendot.com. Green Dot, banking and saving made simple.
Wherever you live, certain truths are universal. Love feels the same. Joy is a joint expression. And health is an essential need for all. Yet with so much we share, there's one thing we don't. Around our world, millions live in places with little to no access to hospitals. At Mercy Ships, we've made it our mission to change this. You can join us by calling or going online now. Just $19 a month is all it takes to help our volunteer doctors and nurses embark on floating hospitals to heal the lives of others, to uphold the truth that love is indeed universal and a healthy family is everything. Call 877-442-9185 or go to mercyships.org. Your gift of $9 a month will save and transform lives. Give today.
Can my side be firm?
And my